What's up guys, Rip Trippers back at you tonight. So tonight I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to wrap a micro coil in a Genesis atomizer. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take 28 gauge kantal. I'm going to take a 5/64 drill bit and I'm going to start wrapping my coil. I'm going to do about 12 wraps. You want to make sure that your wraps are as close together as possible. Just like that right there. You want to make sure one side goes over, one side goes under on each side, okay? If that makes any sense. So this wire right here is going to be connected to my negative connection. This wire here is going to be connected to the positive connection. What I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze the wire together as tight as possible. I'll take this off the drill bit, clip the longer edge. Then I'm going to take tweezers, okay? I'm going to put the coil in between the tweezers. You do not want to squeeze it too tight because you don't want the edges overlapping. You want the coils to be totally side by side. And I'm just going to torch the coils for a good 10 seconds. Let that cool off. Boom, there's your micro coil right there. I'm going to place the coil back onto the drill bit. Then I'm going to place the drill bit inside the wick hole. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the bottom wire to the ground connection and then connect the top wire to the positive connection. And while you're doing this, you want to make sure that this coil is completely centered in the wick hole. It can't be tilted one way or the other. Tighten down the negative connection. I wrap the wire in between these two nuts where the positive connection is, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tighten down this top screw to make that connection. Okay? As you can see, the coil is completely centered, and the reason why I do this is because when I insert that wick, I do not want the wick touching either side of the inside walls of that wick hole. When you have space in between these walls, it allows the juice to wick even more efficiently. Next step, I'm just going to clip the wire with the positive connection. And then I'm going to, until it breaks off at the negative connection right here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this drill bit out slowly, twist it, because I do not want to mess up any of these coils. There you have it, guys. Alright, next step. I've got stainless steel mesh I'm using. Today I'm going to be using 200 stainless steel mesh. I find that the flavor from 200 mesh is even better than the 325. With this mesh, I'm going to be using cotton from a cotton ball. 10 millimeters in width, about 45 millimeters in length. I'm just going to roll it up. Now that I have it rolled up really tight, I'm going to see how this fits in this coil. And I want to make sure that it fits really loose. I mean, as you can see, there's space between the wick and the coil. That's how you want it right there. I'm going to oxidize this wick using this torch. The whole wick. So I got this wick totally oxidized, and the reason why I totally oxidize it and I have this coil sitting completely even is because when I fit this wick into that coil, I don't want the wick touching any of the walls, the inner walls of the wick hole, because a lot of times people don't realize this, but when you roll a wick, there's going to be little burrs that there's nothing you can do about. You can clip all of them beforehand before you wrap your coil, but if those burrs are sitting on the inside of that wick hole and they're touching metal, chances are you're going to have a short or you're going to have a hot spot and it's going to throw your flavor off especially if you're using it on a mechanical mod. That's why I have the coil completely centered and smaller than the actual wick hole, so the wick never touches the inner walls of the wick hole. Okay? Next step, I'm going to attach my device that I'm using. In this case, I'm using an AC9 with a sentinel, a real sentinel. I'm going to check to see if all the coils are glowing. And as you can see, looks a lot brighter on camera. This is a 1.6 ohm micro coil. I've got a kick 2 in here with an 18350. Got an organic cotton ball. Boiled it 30 minutes, dried it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stainless steel mesh wick, the side where my coils are going to be. I'm going to pull some strands out right here, and I'm just going to brush it. And watch the stainless steel mesh pick it up. Okay? See that right there? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that between my fingers and I'm just going to rub it together, and I'm starting to build a coating of cotton on that stainless steel mesh. Get a little more on there. And a little bit goes a long way, guys. Okay? And that's about all you need right there. I'm going to spin it down through the coil nice and slow. Okay? Make sure that it's snug but loose at the same time, if that makes any sense. And there it is right there. I'm just going to fill my tank up. Give it a little tilt. Let that juice get to those coils. And I don't know if you can see that, but it's already saturated. Alright. And as you can see, it's constantly wicking. Constantly. Now we're going to go ahead. I'm going to put the cap on. Going to vape it. Going to talk about it. And all that good stuff. I got a kick 2 in here with an 18350 set at, I've got it set all the way up to 15 watts. So I'm running 15 watts on a mechanical mod. And that's around 4.9 volts on a 1.6 ohm micro coil. Insane. Going to vape it. Going to talk about it. Here we go.